composition patterns. That means, so composition patterns is the way how the services are architectured to communicate with each other, right? When I talk about a service, so one service has to communicate to the another service, right? So how I'm going to expose this service to the external world, or when one service is communicating to the another service on the high level application design, how they are going to communicate to each other, that is called composition pattern. Okay, so the first pattern we are going to talk about is called the aggregator pattern. Okay, this is a very simple thing. Normally in your distributed system also, we will be writing this. We will be installing a Nginx server, Nginx or some kind of proxy server in the front, which basically can receive the request, and based on the request, it can transfer the data to a particular service, right? So those kind of things will be doing it. So a load balancer will be receiving the request and it will be given to aggregator. From the aggregator, the data will be, the request will be routed to a particular service, and that service will have its own cache and then database. So here the aggregator can also have a business logic applied there. Okay, you can just do like a dollar conversion or some kind of conversion. So you can apply a business logic in the aggregator, and once the logic is done, business logic is applied, then the request can be sent to a particular service. So this concept is called aggregator pattern. Okay, so the next way the services are exposed to the external world is called proxy. Okay, this is something similar to aggregator, but only difference is you will not have any business logic available in the proxy layer. Any request which is coming in, I'll just pass it on to the particular service. So that is called as a proxy pattern. So it will be a dumb proxy layer. Any request coming there, it will forward it to the respective service. There is no business logic applied here. This is another pattern. So the next pattern is called a chained pattern. Okay, so it can be something like, I can, from the load balancer, the request can come to service A, and the service A can call the service B. Service B gets some information, validate that, and then pass the request to the service C, and the service C can return the additional process to the load balancer, that is the end user. And once the additional processing is done, it can pass it on to the service D. So this is called as a chained pattern. Okay, so there the user is reacting to service A and service B is responding. A typical example will be the e-commerce scenario. In e-commerce, you are communicating with the order management service. So that is going to call your inventory service and the payment gateway service, right? And the payment gateway is going to give you the page for giving the credit card information. Once that is done, it is going to call the shipping information, shipping service. So this is a typical example of a chained pattern. So you are calling one service as a domino effect, it is going to call the other service. That's called a chained pattern. Okay. So the next concept is called shared resource pattern. This is something similar to that way, but here the user are allowed to directly interact with the other services. Like for example, if you go to Amazon.com, it is going to show me the product information, which is basically coming from the inventory. Okay. Yeah, it may be a product page. Okay, and it is going to show me the review about the product, which may be coming from a different service called review, and it is going to say how many stocks are available, right? Only last one stock left or something like that, right? So those things are coming from my inventory. Okay, so with a single UI, the data from multiple services are given to that. So that's called a shared resource pattern. Okay, so these are all the multiple patterns in which the microservices are communicating with each other. This concept is called composite pattern. Okay, so this defines the high level architecture, how the services are interrelated. Okay, So I shouldn't use the word how the services are communicating. They are how the services are interrelated.